All right, y'all. Let's get started, man. We got some fun today, man. Hello. Welcome to episode 205 from the 215 of the Super Weapon Podcast, most overpowered podcast on the internet. It's your boy, Darius the Artist, and as always, got my co-host DC here with me today.
What up, though, big baby? I feel like we've been gone forever, but it's only been a week. And
Yeah, man, it
we
does.
are back, baby. We are back.
Yep. Sorry you guys
It
missed
was-
us last week, man. We just decided to punt the episode. You know, if there's really not a lot going on, man, we try not
don't
to
force
waste
it.
y'all time. Yeah, but this week, oh
Oh
boy, oh
What a
man,
doozy.
gotta.
Should we start with the sad news first? I mean, what?
I mean, it's all
we-
sad to me, but
The
I'm just
sadder
kidding,
news, the news that matters. That's sad.
You talking about Xbox? Yeah, we can talk a little bit about Xbox, man. So unfortunately, we did get some more layoffs. Another round at Microsoft, Xbox in particular. From what I saw, it was 650, as they claimed, redundant jobs. Mostly from the Activision Blizzard merger. We're starting to see, the effects of that, which is just unfortunate. I don't believe it was developers. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, people losing their jobs always sucks either way. But, here it is. I think this is just another example of, because I put it on Twitter, man, I think that Microsoft just needs to stop acquiring studios until they can kind of figure out what their structure is going to be, because it seems like there's a lot of moving parts, with them trying to integrate Activision into their ecosystem. And, there's been reports that they're really banking on Activision to kind of boost up the Game Pass subscription numbers, especially with Call of Duty looming. But it's just unfortunate, man. I really hope those people land on their feet. But, it's just, as we continue to go through the year, more and more developers, people that work in the industry, not just developers, are just like, continuously losing their jobs.
Yeah. I remember back when I was an Xbot, and I used to fight it real bad, right? When people said studios go to Microsoft to die. And it's starting to kind of be true, because you have this, and it's so unfortunate for these people to lose their jobs. And I just don't know what to say, because I used to stand tall with Xbox, and now, for the life of me, I can't figure out like what's going on over there. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't understand if they're restructuring.
I mean, it's funny.
It's
I
just
remember
all a
us.
cluster.
I remember when we first talked about the merger. That was one of the first things you brought up too, was that this was ultimately going to happen with two large companies merging together. There was going to be a lot of competing jobs for a lot of employees. And, unfortunately, the trend just continues in a bad direction. And not just Microsoft. I mean, we talked about Bungie not too long ago. There was another studio that they're called Annapurna. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Annapurna, but they make a lot of pretty cool games. Their entire game dev staff walked out the other day. I'm laughing, but not like laughing at them. But yeah, their entire game development team, I think it was like 25 or 30 people, just walked out because they couldn't reach a deal with the company owner. And it's just like, what's going to happen with that company right now? It's just, it's just really like treacherous, unfortunate times we're living in. And I hope
In the
that,
gaming world.
yeah, in the gaming industry, just in general, I don't really know where we go from here. I mean, it seems like the cost of everything is just rising, especially in the AAA space. I mean, there's some really cool indie games out there, but, I think the problem is, in my opinion, I think the game industry is just so top heavy when it comes to like sales. In regards to like AAA, typically, or those games are the ones that typically sell the most throughout the year. And, I think that's like the driving factor of a lot of change that's been going on in the industry the last couple of years, for good and bad. And I don't know what happens, at this point. What more can they do to try to slow this down or mitigate these problems? Development's just getting more and more expensive. I mean, You know, we talked about the ballooning cost of games like GTA 6. I mean, even God of War, I think I read something the other day that God of War Ragnarok was a few $100 million to develop, which is just like I can't even imagine like that number just seeing that number being spit. Like I couldn't imagine like just it's wild, man. It's you know, when he says more expensive and for what games like Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws actually got some okay reviews. I'm think I'm gonna wait for it to come on sale before I purchase it. I do want to play it because I've heard good things about
Yeah,
it, and I don't.
Ubisoft usually have good sales too.
Yeah, you know, and you know what, man? Like I'm not even gonna play Ubisoft like that. It seems like they are turning a good corner in regards to the type of games that they used to be making and the quality that they used to have. I hope they continue to turn that corner. But I don't want to not support a game like Star Wars Outlaws and then they look at it like, oh well, we're just gonna go back to doing what we were doing because nobody's buying this. So we're gonna move back in the other direction. It's a
They better
slippery
not
slope, man.
because yeah, they better not because that direction ain't working either.
Yeah.
So you got to try something.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people always say vote with your wallet and everything. Like I think, if I'm not telling everybody to go out and run and buy the game, but if it looks interesting to you, you know, no game's perfect, right? Like I think I was talking to one of my coworkers about this the other day. It's like if you go back and look at like review scores, right? Like people look at like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 like a bad game. And when did that start, right? Like or even a 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna
Like
let you cook because I gotta answer for all of that.
it's crazy seeing how people are so quick to just poo poo on a game because it didn't have a 9 or a 10 out of 10. And I mean, obviously, no game is perfect, but I'll take a decent 6 out of 10 over a boring 10 out of 10, in my opinion. It's something that's just so, not creative, uninventive. But yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I could simplify this with one word. I've been saying it all week on Twitter. Entitlement.
Yeah,
Gamers, I'm gonna start a movement anti-entitlement because gamers are so freaking entitled. Like some of the
yeah,
stuff that I've heard this past week, I'm like, dog, you can't be this entitled. Like you said, a 7 or 8, and it's just like, oh, this game is trash.
or like a
Like,
Metacritic score of like a low 80s or something. People look at it like it's the worst thing on earth. It's crazy to me, man.
in the
Like,
low 80s, you could play that, and that honestly may be a high 100 to you.
right,
Because you got to think these are critics. It's not you. They are judging these games on a certain metric that's higher than what you may even judge it for. So it's like there's no excuse with YouTube and streamers, right?
yeah,
This is how I kind of gauge all my games. Like if something come out, I'll watch someone play it, or I'll go to YouTube and watch a playthrough.
right,
And it's still not me playing it, but it's me getting a grasp of the concept of the game, and it it makes me decide if I want to purchase it or not.
right.
But like, I'm not gonna sit on Twitter and stuff just be like, oh, oh my God, Rotten Tomatoes and blah blah blah. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like the same
Like,
thing with movies too. Now that you mentioned Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, I mean it's
but you
crazy.
rush this stuff out. Like the problem is, gamers want stuff quick, fast, and in a hurry, and they want it perfect. You can't, you can't have all three.
No,
Like you can't. Like either these games are gonna take a while to cook and come out properly, or they're going to be rushed. You're going to have these investor calls. You're going to have these people, hey, well, we need this game out by summer.
hmm
The developers are going to say, hey, there's no freaking way in hell we can get this game out by summer. Oh, well, guess what you got to do? Cut some shit out because we want it out during the summer. Then guess what? It comes out in the summertime and it's half-assed, and then you got entitled gamers. This game is ass. Blah, 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 blah. So somewhere in this pyramid of bullshit, somebody's gonna have to start being a little more understanding. And I know it's not gonna be investors. Let's be real, because they're gonna want their money when they want it.
yeah,
But it's gonna, like, I just hate to see it for the devs out there, like their back is against the wall. You work in crunch. We not even gonna get started on Rockstar because I went down a Rockstar hole this week,
You know,
and
you know what I think it is. I think it or at least for me in my head, it all relates back to like the rising cost of everything.
mm-hmm.
Because it used to be, you just mentioned, right, like you can't. It's
Then they
very
complain about that.
it's very rare that a game will have all three of those things and be successful. Very rare. It's only a handful of games per generation, right, per console generation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think back to the times, like years ago when a semi-successful game was allowed to have a sequel, and developers and studios were able to work on the things that they felt like either they didn't have enough time to work on or ideas that got squeezed out that they could put into the sequel. And you don't really have that kind of stuff anymore. Like you don't really get game sequels as much, like it seems like a very rare thing, especially in the AAA space, that
Mm-hmm.
games are allowed to breathe, or series are allowed to breathe, and developers are allowed to continue to develop the things that they've been working on. And just like Winnie said, now it's all remakes and remasters, and we're just
Because
kind
it's
of
a safe bet.
in that era, yes, because it's safe, and creativity is kind of stifled at that end, and it's unfortunate, man.
And I don't even blame them. I don't even blame them because of what I just said. Like
Yeah,
it's unfair pressure like put on them. Like you
it is.
can't have greatness, especially with the size of these games nowadays and on the technical aspect side of creating a AAA game and making it good. It's like it's so much pressure. And I don't understand why, when all of y'all swear y'all got backlogs from hell, like, why do y'all be so obsessed with something coming out? Because I just made a tweet the other day. I was like, I don't care to play because people keep asking me about what's the monkey game? I can't pronounce the
Oh,
shit.
Black Myth Wukong, yeah.
Yeah, people keep asking me, have you played it? Have you played it? No, I don't care to even play it, and it's not because it's a bad game. Is I play it when I play it. Like I'll get to it when I
Yeah.
get to it. It's like it's not a rush because I got so much other shit that I need to catch up on. And it's like you have a game like that come out, and by the graces of God, it came out in such a impactful way, and everyone loves it, and that's great. Like, but you didn't hear any pressure or anything about that game. That game just kind of came out of left field. Like people saw it a while ago and was like, "Yo, this game looked like it's going to be
You know,
fire."
not to cut you off, I wonder if that's like a symptom of Western game development. I see a lot of games like that. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like games are like the industry is starting to spread its wings in terms of talent. It looks like because you have that game, which is very successful, it's a Chinese-based studio. There's another game that's coming out next year. It's from a South Korean studio that looks really good. I think it's called Crimson Dawn or something along. It looks very like Witcher 3 fantasy style. It looks really good. And then you have, like I said, like just like you were saying, like that Western game development idea where, hey, we need to get this out as soon as possible, or nobody's gonna buy it, or the games will come out, they'll be early access, and they'll be very kind of piecemeal out to you. It's just I wonder if that's a symptom of that versus it seems like there's a lot more creative renaissance going on in Eastern development or other countries that aren't like Westernized. And I'm not when I say Western game development, I'm kind of including Europe in that too because I mean you look at like Rockstar and
Mm-hmm.
CD Projekt Red. They kind of fall into that category for me, even though they're not
It could be.
Western. But I'm it's just interesting to think about from that point of view.
Yeah, and it's like we've said a billion times before. It's just like I wish people would have a little more understanding and a little more, grace
Yeah,
for these people who are making these games, the devs that's behind your favorite games. Like, it's really I no longer even call games trash anymore. I kind of eliminated that from my vocabulary. And that's part of the reason why,
yeah,
because I watch a lot of videos, and by running this podcast, you do a lot of research and stuff.
yeah.
And when you really get down to the nitty gritty and you start seeing what it takes or what these guys go through to create these games, even if it's a commercial quote unquote flop, right?
Right.
someone still sat there, just like what is it, Concord? They've been working on that game for what, 8 plus years.
Yep. 8 plus years. The
Can you
budget was like a
imagine
hundred
working
million
on
dollars.
something 8 plus years and it just comes and goes? Like,
Made
I
no
would
money on
need
that game.
therapy. I would need freaking therapy after that. Like,
Yeah, it's and then like I mean that, and then you see all the hateful, angry shit people are saying online. I mean, yeah, people get their jokes off. It's all funny in the moment sometimes, ha ha ha. But just like you said, man, these are people's lives and livelihoods, and they're really proud to show you this kind of work. As somebody who went to school for game design, I understand how that is. That anxiety of showing your work, that has never left
yeah.
my soul. Like, and I'm sure you get it too.
Hell, being a graphic
You work in
designer,
graphic
bro,
design.
your shit get torched. I sit at work and my shit get torched every day.
Yeah, like that
Like,
that
it's
builds
not
a
for the
special
faint of
kind of
heart
thick
at
skin.
all, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's tough, man. And but yeah, man, I really do hope that the people
Hey,
who continue to be affected by
ah,
all these
there we go.
losses really just, I hope they land on their feet somewhere, whether that's either in the industry or outside of it. Because we're seeing a lot of that too. A lot of developers are leaving the game industry to go work in other parts of entertainment, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Uh,
I mean, but let's talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro, man. I really do want to get into this today. We finally, after much rumors, much hoo-ha, hoopla, we finally get to see
uh,
the PlayStation 5 Pro in all of its splendor. I was trying to choose a nice word there. And I mean,
uh,
I don't know the kind of reactions that you saw online, but from what I saw, it seemed like this
oh
didn't go
my.
over super well to majority of the hardcore player, but Sony fans included. Like, so for those of you who don't know, it's brand new. It's a mid-gen refresh for the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's $700 base. That is without the vertical stand and without the disk drive. So
Bro,
if
what
you
the
were,
fuck?
yeah, that's the same thing I said. But if you were somebody who, likes to play hard disk games, we have some
Oh
friends
god, I
who
hate
do
these
like to buy their
headphones.
games. It just doesn't seem like, Sony just seems really kind of anti-consumer, man. I was pretty shocked by the price. I was thinking it was gonna hover between 600 and 650, but we got our first $700 console. Yeah, what's going on, Dark Star? Sorry I didn't see you there, man. But yeah, initial reactions for me for this, I wasn't angry. I was just more so, my question still remains. It's like, who is this for? And what problems does this solve that the PlayStation 5 base model can't? I think those questions still have not been answered for me. And I don't think they will. Even when because this is supposed to come out sometime. I think it's November 7th when this is releasing. Pre-orders are, I believe, at the end of the month or sometime in October, early October. So if you're interested in this, you can buy this. I mean, this thing is like, this is ridiculous as far as pricing goes for me, man. I don't know how you kind of feel about it initially, or where you kind of sit. Let's talk initial impressions, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty of this. So,
Ooh,
are you are
breakdown.
you are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I wrote on Twitter, and I think I was just trying to be a contrarian as usual, just to piss people off. Um, I didn't initially see a problem with it, but this is why you don't make decisions before you actually do research. Because at first I was just like, I knew this was coming. I said this way back when the next gen consoles were being rumored to come out and all this
Mm,
stuff. I was like, hey, I thought that we were going to be paying this price that we're paying now. Um, Eventually, we will have to bite the bullet and prices will go up. And I think this is PlayStation's way of testing the waters for the PS6. I think
I don't
that,
disagree with that.
yeah, I think that they're kind of testing the waters to see what people are willing to pay for. As far as I feel personally, if I did not already own a PlayStation, I honestly wouldn't mind picking this up. I honestly don't have a problem with the $700 price tag, but at the same time, I feel like just like this morning when you told me about the stand, I was just like, yo, that's crazy. Like I'm
Yeah.
paying $700 and I have to like this doesn't come with a stand. You think they would have
It's
a
ridiculous.
showpiece? They would have a showpiece, and what I mean by that is you would think this would come with a specific game to kind of like showcase the powers, like Astrobot did with the controller.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if they had would have had like a game that really benefits from this AI driven upscale, all these bullshit buzzwords that they've been using for the past week. Like, give us a game specifically to showcase this. Make people want this. Like, if I'm buying a base system and then I got to spend another $30 for a stand, then you got to spend what is it? What is it? 80?
80 for the
80
disc
for the
drive. Yep.
disc drive. Why doesn't this thing come with a disc drive? Like, are you? Come on, what are we
I
doing here?
mean, that's not that part wasn't surprising for me because we've been moving in this direction for a long time with Sony and Microsoft.
Exactly.
You know,
But I mean, even if people don't use it, right? At least throw it in there to kind of cushion the blow, right?
sure. You
You
know,
know?
and it's funny, right? You know, because so as far as like specs goes, for people who are curious, you know, it's the same CPU inside of it. The GPU is you know, according to Sony, is 67% stronger. And it also comes with a 2 terabyte drive, which I looked up yesterday or this morning. I
And
can't
how much
remember.
does a 2 terabyte drive cost nowadays?
The drive by the Sony rated ones, because there's like specific drives that they recommend you using for good reason. Like I will say
Mhm.
this, you know, like because Sony, the PlayStation 5 when it initially came out, I said this back then, I think it has really cool technology in it, and I think that's the thing that I can see the potential in. You know, the drive I think is 170 ish. I think it's 178 or something like that. So if you take the drive out, I think the PlayStation 5 Pro would be around like 530 or 550 or something like that, which isn't bad. But you know, this is kind of something we were talking about beforehand, before the podcast started. You know, and I feel like this is just very anti-consumer of Sony. That, you know, just like you mentioned, they're not selling the stand that comes with this. I've never taken my PlayStation 5 off of the stand. I don't know if it can stand up without it. If I'm being honest, I don't know if it's like a handicap cane for my PlayStation. You know, but they're marketing the Pro vertical. You know, that's just, in my opinion, such an anti-consumer thing. The disc drive, I'm less inclined to care about that personally, because
Mhm.
I buy my games digitally. I haven't bought a physical copy of a disc game in
I'm starting to want to go
probably
back.
close to 10 years, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. But once again, people like you, people like Darkstar, Weenie, you know, a lot of our friends that
David.
we know purchase physical copies of games. So, you know, you have to consider that additional cost on top of what you're. So if you want to get the stand along with the disc drive, it's an extra $110. And that's just in the US. In the UK, the base price for this is 800 euros, which is absolutely fucking insane to me. Like and you know, because you go back and look at the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X when they came out, they solved problems that Sony and Microsoft had. The PS4 Pro, it added HDR, and something else I can't remember off the top of my head, and it was overall a more powerful console than the base PlayStation 4, and they showcased that they did really well. The Xbox One X, it was a more improved version of the Xbox One. It introduced FSR, which is like AI upscaling, so you could play games in semi 4K, and you know it made sense. There was only $100 increase if I remember right when they first came out. But this, you know, even with all the cool AI upscaling that Sony's doing with PSSR, which I think is actually really fucking cool. Like I said, this stuff is the tech inside of it is cool, but I think this is just too early for it to matter. You know, we're what 4 years removed from these consoles launching, and I don't feel like, especially with the showcase, like if you guys are if you guys are listening to the audio version, you know, check out the YouTube, because I have the showcase playing, and check out the showcase yourself. Watch it yourself. They did a terrible job showcasing why I should want this PlayStation 5 Pro. And let's be
That's what I'm
honest,
saying.
if
They
this
should have had a
was
game or something with
yeah,
it,
they
right?
they didn't announce any new games. You're showing Last of Us 2. You're showing Ratchet and Clank. You know, Gran Turismo, games that came out years ago. You know, where is the incentive for me to want to buy this system? Because let's be
unless
honest,
you're
if
new,
this was
unless it's your
Xbox and they dropped this, an Xbox Series XX or XY or whatever, and they didn't announce any new games, that's all people would have been talking about.
oh, they would have been an
But
Xbox ass.
yeah, but we're giving this a pass because it's PlayStation, it's Sony.
At least come with an Elite controller. Shit, give me something.
Yeah, and and it's to the average person. The average person wouldn't be able to tell the difference just looking at the presentation. I think people have come out and released some uncompressed videos of the showcase, which looks a little bit better. But if we're being completely honest, I mean, even high end PCs have trouble running games at 4K 60.
I want to ask a question too.
No, go ahead. What's your
And to all the people who are getting this Pro, I'm just curious. Are y'all playing on the right monitors and TVs for this? Probably not.
The average person probably has a 4K TV in their living room or something that they'll play on. They're not sitting at a PC like I am, hooked up to this very nice monitor that I bought a couple years ago. But I think this is just once again because we're gonna hear this I think it's like PS Pro Enhanced is the tagline they're using for a lot of games and stuff. But according to Digital Foundry, a lot of these games will run up to 60. They won't be true just a solid 60 frames per second, which I think I guess it's better than nothing. But like I said, it just comes off as disingenuous to me, right? And I've heard the argument people are saying about, oh well, GTA 6 is gonna run on at 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5 Pro. If you guys think that's true, I have a bridge I want to sell you. Somebody clip this. I guarantee it. I'm gonna say it right into the camera. The GTA 6 is not gonna run at a true 60 frames per second, a consistent 60 on a PS5 Pro. I guarantee it. It's the same thing that happened with GTA 5. Go back and look at GTA 5 release when it released on the PS.
Why I don't think I'm gonna get it when it drops.
It came out on the 360 and the PlayStation 3. That game was running at it was lucky to hit 30 in some cases. If we're being honest, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't think this.
Rile up the GTA fans.
Who is this for? It's just like you said, right? Like if you have the money and you don't have a PlayStation 5, you haven't played any of the great games that have come out already for this generation, sure. I think the technology will look best with Sony's first party studios. But we don't know what they're working on. They've already come out and said, hey, we're not releasing anything this year or for a while. So, we don't know what the hell they got planned for 2025. And, and then you're turning around and releasing games on PC, which look better on PC. I don't care what anyone says. You can tell me that this is comparable to a 4070. It is in some aspects when it comes to the AI upscaling, but that's it. I'm not gonna play. If I had the choice to play Spider-Man 3 on a PS5 Pro or PC, I'm gonna play it on PC. That's just a no-brainer. And PC Master Race and all this other. Yeah. But I don't think this solves any necessary any problems that they couldn't have waited for next gen for PlayStation 6. I don't think we're going to get a mid-gen refresh from Xbox. They've already come out and basically said that they're not doing that, which I think is a great idea by them, especially if rumors are true and they're going to release a console in 2026. And this is setting a dangerous precedent because now we're in uncharted territory. Because from the very first Xbox, basically until now, for the last 20 some odd years, Sony and Xbox have both released consoles in the same year. But what's going to happen now? We don't know what the hell's going to happen at this point. Because if this is coming out now and Xbox is supposed to be launching their next gen consoles in 2026, I don't think we'll get a PlayStation 6 in the next 2 years. Imagine if we do and they're charging $700 to $800. Imagine what that's going to do to your player base. If somebody bought a PS5 Pro this year, at the end of this year, and 2 years later they have to turn around and buy a PlayStation 6, they already barely support backwards compatibility. If we're just being honest about it, let's just get really into it. Sony is so anti-consumer. They're turning into Apple, in my opinion. They're turning into fucking Apple for gaming. They really are.
Yeah, and you've been on this hill for a minute.
I've been standing on this for a long time.
Anti-consumer here for a while, yeah. And I don't disagree with you there because it's just like the simplest things that they do just kind of piss me off a little bit. Like the whole stand thing is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
why do I have to buy this separate piece that came with the
With the
original
yeah.
PlayStation 5?
And
It
then
came with it.
and then imagine, right? This is something else I was thinking about. What if the base stand doesn't fit on the Pro? Let's say you just buy the Pro. You want to keep your original PS5. You're like, oh man, I can buy this and just are the stands interchangeable? We don't know.
I don't think so.
Like, because then you got to
If
spend
I
extra
was a
$30.
buckaroo, I guarantee you that stand does not fucking work for the PS Pro.
That was like the first thought that came to my head. Is like, okay, what if I go to Best Buy or GameStop and I just sell my PlayStation 5 Pro, keep the stand, I get the Pro, and the stand doesn't work? That would send me over the edge. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Just by looking at the stand and looking at the one I have for the PlayStation, I don't think
They look different, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just now. Is there a deeper root of this problem? Like, and what I mean by that is, I'm going to pose you a question, and you're a very intelligent brother, and I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great answer. Are they being greedy because of the floppage of Discord? I mean, what was it?
Concord.
Concord?
I think they were gonna do this
Do you
regardless.
do you think it just seems a little extra though?
I
Like,
think.
come
I mean,
on, the
'cause
freaking stand. You're gonna make people buy a separate stand.
I think this was
I'm
the
not even
plan from
tripping
day
off the
one.
disk drive.
These consoles don't just pop up out of nowhere. They've been working on this for a very long time. I wouldn't be surprised if they were working on this the same year they released the base PS5. I think this was the plan from the beginning, and the next thing people are probably wondering that I'm thinking, is this going to sell or not? It is. A lot of retailers have already sold out of the stand and the disc drive. They're already sold out, retailers. This is going to sell.
Because once again, as much as people complain, they buy it every time. Every time. And like I said, I don't know how many of these people this will be their first time purchasing a PS5, period. But the only way I would buy this is if I didn't. I'm kind of mad because I'm like, damn, I should have just waited because I got my PlayStation last year.
Yeah.
I could have just waited and bought this, but my whole thing is just like, even with the next gen consoles, I might not get the first one. I might just wait until the mid console come out. Like,
if this is gonna be the pattern going forward, it's and in my opinion, if you introduce a new version of already existing tech, it should solve a problem and it should be consumer friendly in terms of pricing. I know that's not always the case, but you're talking about like an almost $300 jump in price.
How much do you think the PS6 is going to cost?
It's going to be at least $700. I know a lot of people have been disagreeing about that, but I think both. I think it's going to be $700, and I think that PlayStation is, well, I don't know. I would say it depends on Microsoft, but Sony just kind of walks to the beat of their own drum, much like Nintendo has for the last couple of decades. And like I said, that's why I said we're in uncharted territory, because then if the Xbox comes out first, Sony can control the conversation. They can control their narrative at that point. They don't have to compete necessarily with Xbox in terms of like features, in terms of marketing, in terms of price, because there's no other competition at that point. So I think that it's going to be I would be shocked if it's under $650 for either console. That's being and that's just being general. Like,
I'm gonna say 8.
And I know a lot of people kind of
outrage of the price. I thought it was gonna be 1,000, but after the outrage of this, I think they're gonna tone it down to about 8.
I mean, because you look at the progression of every generation. We're just getting closer and closer to modular PCs anyway. I think it's just it's getting to the point where it's coming to that. Honestly, what I would have loved to see from Sony with this, if they would have given you the option to get a 1 terabyte version or a smaller, some sort of smaller version in terms of size for a reduced price. I would have much rather had that versus this is the only, because at least with the base you can get either the all digital, which I think is $100 cheaper than the disc one. But now you just have this one. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, we don't know what their plans are for next year. The only thing that we know of is Wolverine is supposed to come out next year, allegedly. We've seen what? 10 seconds of that game, a CG trailer.
Bro, that game is just like GTA. It's gonna get pushed back, bro.
Well, I mean, Insomniac's pretty good about hitting their release dates when they announce them. But we don't know what Sony Santa Monica's working on. We don't know what Naughty Dog's working on. We don't know what majority of their first party studios are working on right now. And they may have a blowout showcase after the Game Awards in December. Who knows, right? They might hit January and be like, "Here's what we have planned here's the future of PlayStation." And I'd be happy with that. I'd be cool with that. But once again, it has to make sense. You have to convince me that the best version, like, just a couple of extra reflections on a car or a floor in a shiny hallway is not going to make me spend $700 personally. just me
like
personally.
I said, the average person, like, don't even run the correct monitors or televisions to capture all of this glitzy, glamoury glory, bro. Like,
no.
And I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I would really not need to have a PlayStation for me to get that one. I think the presentation for it could have been better. You could have sold
100%.
people on it better. I feel like there should have been a game to come with this. You should at least have at least one game to really, really show off what you're trying to show off with the hardware and stuff. Like, sell it. You didn't really sell it to me. That's the problem. Like, this guy, the lead architect or whoever this guy is,
Mark Cerny.
Up on him. Mark Cerny. You didn't sell it, brother. Like, you did a really bad job at really kind of selling it to me. Like, I don't know about other people, but I was looking at this stuff and I'm looking at the games, like, but the games look great on the regular PlayStation. Like, Ratchet and Clank, all these games, Spider-Man, everything that they're showing, I was like, how much more gloss you can put on this shit?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, like, great games, right? Like, I'm playing through Spider-Man 2 right now, loving the hell out of it. I played Ratchet and Clank. I think Ratchet and Clank is probably one of my top 3 favorite games from this generation, hands down.
And I can't even say, man, let me borrow that.
I can't let you borrow it because I just buy stuff digitally, right? Like, I can't.
Right.
It just
if you buy it digitally, you still have to download these games from the internet, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So when you put the disc in, you still have, like,
there's nothing really on disc anymore. If we're being honest, there's really not.
Yeah, if you have it on disc, you still, as soon as you put it in, you have to, like, download from the internet. So it's like, once again, we talk anti-consumerism, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
Their business practices are god awful. And it's just like Darkstar when he said in chat, they both have PlayStation 5, the base models, just like we do, and they don't feel incentivized from this presentation to upgrade. And I think a lot of people are feeling like that, irregardless of what the Twitter monkeys are saying. Like, I think that majority of the people who are going to buy this are going to be the ones who aren't hardcore, I'm looking at IGN for reviews, and they're just going to see this on the shelf. A dad's kid is going to ask for this for Christmas and he's going to get it. Or, somebody who does not have a PlayStation is going to get this. And I think that's going to be the main. I mean, it's going to, like I said, it's going to sell. It is. There's no doubt in my mind this thing's going to sell. But
now it's getting to a point, and I want to ask you this too.
Yeah.
Where do we stand with video games as a hobby? Like, we're getting to a point where we spoke on entitlement, right? And I asked that to say this. It's like, people got to understand that it's a hobby, but yet it's a expensive hobby. So things are going to get pricey. I get that. But it has to be a balance, right? Like, I get that things are going to start costing more, but I don't think the price really, from what I'm seeing, it's just like, I really have to break this machine down and see where is they getting this price from, if that makes any sense.
If you want my honest opinion about it, when it comes to console gaming, it was never an affordable hobby for people to have, if we're just being completely honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think people confuse that with, because as somebody who basically essentially moved completely over to PC gaming a couple years ago. I find that it's more affordable outside of the initial investment, initial investment for buying a PC. Buying games on PC is infinitely cheaper because there are always sales, there are always deals. Hell, Epic gives away free games every month. Steam, you can find cheap or affordable games on a crazy sale. I mean, I just pulled up a list of consoles and how much they used to cost. I mean, this is, of course, a lot of this stuff had been adjusted for inflation, but back in the day, spending $200-$300 on a console was a lot of money back in the day. In the 90s, 80s, that was a lot of money back then. It may not seem like it to a lot of our younger listeners, but that was a lot of money for us back then. Even the PlayStation 3, I don't know how the hell they got out of that. That thing cost $600 when it launched. A lot of people don't remember that. The PlayStation 3 was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster, man. But I
looked ugly.
Yeah, and it was god awful. A lot of people don't remember that boomerang controller they were trying to sell and stuff. But I digress. But I just think.
But the thing is this: most hobbies aren't cheap.
There's investment to be had. Absolutely.
I collect RCs. You don't want to know how much these things cost. It's $600 a pop.
Yeah.
For one of these cars, $600 a pop with maintenance, meaning you have to keep the thing running.
Right.
And then I'm looking at buying a dirt bike because that's another hobby and the dirt bike is $8,000, between $8,000 and $12,000. Like no hobby. Well, let's take the podcast. We consider this a hobby, right? You want to know how much this mic costs? You want to know how much this mixer costs? You want to know how much this camera costs? I mean, hobbies are
if I told
expensive.
People, if I told y'all what I spent on my PC equipment, God, I don't even want to talk about
it. You might drop kick me in the back of the head if you found out how much I've spent. Like every time I look at this mic and I'm talking to it, I'm like, this mic better last me for the rest of my damn life. I better be talking my way into heaven with this goddamn mic.
Drawing is a cheap hobby? Incorrect. It is not. It is if you buy a pencil from Walmart, a pack of pencils, but if you want to draw professionally, it is not.
Oh, when you go to a hobby store, pencils that cost like $60 for a pack of freaking pencils,
or an eraser or Prisma markers, it's not. Initial investment is weenie, but when you're playing or when you have a hobby, how often do people stay at that initial investment, right? You want to do more, you're having fun with something, so you spend more money. So that's why I say that. Not that you're wrong, but I think, if we're talking about initial investment versus like investing over time. Yeah, and Weenie's a great artist, by the way, guys. If you guys should jump in our Discord. He drops amazing art in there all the time. So
residential artist / sword bearer, guarding this place that we call home with his life.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, for me, this is just gonna be a bounce pass. If I come into some extra money, and because I do want to get rid of the PlayStation 4 that my daughter has. I would love to give her mine and then get a Pro. Sure, I could see myself doing that. But just like off the top, without any sort of like real games or investment, this is going to be a pass for me. I'm curious to see.
Is there a PlayStation 4 Master Race?
You mean the Sony ponies, as we call them? Yeah.
Shout out to Black Hokage fighting that good fight.
You should put that online. That's actually incredible. PlayStation 4 Master Race. Holy shit.
No, I put that versus Black Hokage, and it went crazy on Twitter because he's always talking about people with PS4s and how they should give them up.
Oh,
it's pretty funny commentary. It's pretty. Yeah, he's pretty like livid about that. But,
yeah, man.
Would it be a bounce pass for me?
It's a respectful bounce pass for me. 100%.
I mean, the holidays is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I don't need that shit.
Man, remember when Black Friday used to matter? I just thought about that. You used to be able to get things on the sale.
Shit out of each other and
before people got violent,
just marked up. They was just buying shit from a factory that's been marked up 3 times specifically for Black Friday. They selling you bullshit. Remember
I
back in
miss
the
Black
day when
Friday
it
sales,
mattered?
man. I do. I really miss like actual Black Friday sales. Not
Going
saying
out
that
with the
this
homies.
definitely probably wouldn't have been on sale, but that's just a complete just out of the air for me. Like I don't know, man. I think that this is like I say, it's gonna sell. I wonder what I do wonder is how many they're making initially. Because here's what I feel like they're gonna do. This is just like my
Hmm.
tinfoil crazy man head, right? They're gonna create a fake supply shortage. Just like like I said, it's
Oh,
the stands are selling out and the disk drives are selling out, right? They've been selling disk drives for 4 years. Why are they all of a sudden now there's shortage? So then they're gonna come out and be like, "Hey guys, we sold fastest selling PlayStation since sliced bread," and then people are like, "Oh man, I gotta go out and get one." That's just me crazy. Like I think that's what they're gonna
no,
end up
you
doing.
you you might be cooking with something here. Yeah.
Like I just don't
I can
trust
see
them,
a fake
man.
demand. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen it in every other aspect
Hell,
of
man, people
entertainment.
forget how hard it was to get consoles in 2020 during COVID. For like a year and a half, how
I
hard it was to
didn't.
get.
I didn't.
People were selling PlayStation 5s on like StockX for like $900 to $1,000. A lot of people don't remember that.
And you know what? Y'all got the nerve to be complaining about $700, and you idiots was out here buying freaking consoles for 1,000. You know
Yeah.
what? You brought a good point. Fuck off,
People
man.
forget about that, man. How you guys forget about
And
that?
all y'all crying and y'all was buying. Man, it comes full circle,
Hey
right?
man, hey, we gotta keep it real here, man. You gotta keep it real and gotta keep it honest, man.
Y'all full of shit. Buy that $700 console that this guy right here is selling.
you know,
What is his name? Crony?
Mark
Crony?
Cerny, man.
Mike Sterney?
I,
Yeah.
I feel
He
like they
looked like
keep
he
him
really
in
worked
a.
hard.
I feel like they keep him in like a research lab underground somewhere at
Bro,
Sony
he don't see the
HQ,
light.
and
Look at
he
him.
only
Look at
comes
him.
out to do these videos, and he disappears again.
Did they tie him up and put him back in a
Then
basement?
they
Work
put
on the
him back on a
GPU.
chain in front of a computer and tell him to code. Get to it, bro.
Yeah, yeah. We need a PS6 Pro stat. Get to work,
Yeah,
Bucko.
like it's just I don't know, man. I'm really I think this is like a big change for the industry. I really do. I think
Man, I'm just
Sony and Microsoft are really just moving away from you know lockstepping with each other. They're trying to take in the Nintendo route because we still haven't seen anything from them as regards to a Switch successor. We've heard countless rumors. I think it comes out next year at some point. I honestly do think we get a Switch 2 next year. And then from that, it's all like all bets are off. At that point, who knows when we get a
hey, you
PlayStation
know
6?
what?
Who
Come
knows
on,
when we get the
Switch.
next Xbox? Like it's crazy.
I don't know, man. It's gonna have to be some major reconstruction within the gaming industry and a lot of these AAA studios. Like, I want
Hmm.
to see something done to where conditions and stuff are improved
Agreed.
with as far as developers go. I want to see more unions. I want to see these guys get together and make things a little bit more comfortable for them. We got to stop being so freaking entitled, man. And
Bring the
cause
fun
just
back
think
in gaming.
if, yeah, just think about your job. Like,
Hmm.
if people was on your back, rushing you to get shit done, and well,
Right.
that's my job right now. uh, uh,
Gotta love football
uh,
season.
but yeah, I just want to see things get better for the devs and stuff,
Yeah.
man. Like, my heart goes to anyone who gets laid off. I've been there a couple of times, and
Yeah.
I know Darius himself has been there, and having a family and just trying to hold it down for your family, and you're getting laid off, man. Just, oh God, just talking about it every other episode is just crazy to me. But hopefully these people could bounce back. I know we may get a lot of studios from this. That's the only kind of bright side you look at.
Yeah.
Like, because usually when people get laid off, they usually team up together and open up their studio. And hopefully we get a lot of that. And with that, we get some freaking cool indie games that's going to push the envelope, like that game I showed you yesterday, Neon Inferno. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it.
No, I didn't. But yeah, we can
We
talk
should
about
bring it
that.
up on
Yeah,
screen.
we can talk
Oh
about that.
God.
So yeah, that I
Oh,
mean
and I want to.
that's the PlayStation 5 Pro, guys. As always, man, I encourage you guys to do your own independent research. I'm not telling you
Yes.
guys not to buy it if you feel it is for you and it works for you financially. If you're good with that, purchase it. Let me know what your thoughts are too. Let us know if you guys are interested in the PlayStation 5 Pro, man. Hit us up on Twitter, Discord, YouTube. Put a comment, be like, hey, I think this is great. This sucks. Like I'm actually really curious to know what y'all think. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm sure we'll get a bunch of Digital Foundry videos when this does drop. That's what I'm actually really waiting on because I can't wait to see those. I
Mm-hmm.
love watching Digital Foundry, man. It's like,
Goated.
yeah, it's fucking awesome for me. So, oh yeah, what
Goated.
was the yeah? So now we're gonna talk about a couple indie games to wrap up the pod. What was the name of the
Just a
game?
few indie spotlight. First, it's called Neon Inferno.
Neon
And I want to say this
Inferno.
because I don't want to take credit for someone's hard work, right? I want to give a shout out to Lord Balvin. If you do not follow him on Twitch or Twitter, he is
Oh,
actually the one who put me on to this game. Lord Balvin is a great content creator. Him and Bronze really keep their ears to the street when it comes to the indie scene. So he was the
super
one who put
cool.
me onto this game.
This is given what's the game you guys are always talking about, you and Darkstar,
Streets of
man? Streets of
Rage.
Rage,
Yeah, beat
yeah.
'em up. Yeah, let's
This is
go.
giving me major Streets of Rage vibe. This actually looks really cool. And see, this is the stuff that I think should get the proper highlights, the proper marketing and stuff that what I mean. Like actually looks really cool. For our
Oh
audio
God, I
listeners, it's
cannot
like
wait.
it's like an isometric pixel shooter beat 'em up kind of game. It looks pretty cool though. I'm digging this. When does this come out?
Sometime next year. It doesn't have a release date yet. It just says 2025.
Nice. Yeah, and it's gonna
Yeah,
be on
I got
Steam,
it
and I'm
on my
sure it's gonna
wish
be on
list.
console too. So, or I hope it's on
Yeah, I
console.
got it on my wish list on Steam. I cannot freaking wait, man.
Yeah, this looks actually pretty awesome, man. There was one game I did want to talk about too that I brought up last stream. It's called Core Keeper. This
Yeah, 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 yeah,
game
yeah.
is absolutely incredible, man. I played a little bit of this off stream. This is available on Game Pass and on I believe it's on PlayStation as well as obviously it's on PC as well. This game is absolutely incredible, man. So this is like a top down what's the word, procedural, I guess, like world where you're in a mine and you can kind of like create a base and stuff. You're digging, you can create a base like with a co-op. I think it's up to 8 players for each individual world, so it's giving me like major Valheim
Ooh.
vibes.
So we all can play, is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think I
I'll
might
be
actually play
back.
this at the end of the stream. Like, this game is so much fun, man. There's
I think we
survival
should play
elements
it
in
off
it. There's
stream.
crafting. There's
Oh wow.
classes. So there's like individual classes. There's magic in the game. There's like this game is so fun. It's so cool looking. Like once again, this is another like top down pixel game, but I mean the detail in it is super cool, man. This game is so yeah. There's boss fights. There's one boss that I ran into. I don't know if it's the first boss or if I just happened upon this guy, but there's like this gigantic slime boss, and I think you get stuff to sacrifice to like these altars because I saw that it had the name of an altar at the starting point I was at. So I don't know how that all kind of works or whatever, but I mean this game just looks super cool, man. Like I
Yeah, it
can't I
does look
can't wait to
fun.
play more like this. And I think it has controller support too. I was playing it on keyboard and mouse. I didn't, if it plays great on keyboard and mouse. I hope it has controller support, but yeah, there's like all kind of elements in it. Like you have to feed yourself and all that kind of stuff. You can, cook and there's like recipes and stuff. Like you can mix different ingredients together to get different things. And then even when you eat in the game too, you'll get like stat bonuses. So you can like one in particular, I found like this mushroom that was glowing and I mixed it with something else and it made my character's body glow so I could see in the dark because obviously you're mining so you can't see unless you like create a torch or something. But yeah, this game is absolutely incredible, man. Like it's out. So if you guys are interested in it, please check this out. Like I said, it's on Game Pass, man. Like
I wonder if this on Steam too as
it is.
well.
It's
It
on
looks
Steam.
like it.
I'm not sure how much
Okay.
it is. As a matter of fact, we can just look right now. But it is absolutely
Community
incredible.
game? Anyone?
Like I'm always down for that kind of stuff, man. Core Keeper.
Weenie?
It's
Community game?
$20.
Oh, $20 ain't bad
20
at
buckos,
all.
man. And like I said, it's
Oh, it's
out.
indie, man. So we gotta support that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead
user
and cop
user
that.
reviews very positive, which is really big on Steam. I mean, like 30,000 reviews on Steam right now. So I mean, a lot of people are
Word.
playing it. Like this game's absolutely incredible, man. And you can tame animals apparently. Like I found a cow and I couldn't figure out how to feed it. So it's like a lot to learn, I
I'm
guess.
getting a pet cow in real life.
Yeah, like
So
it's super cool, man. But yeah, man. I think we're gonna start spotlighting some more games that we're either interested in or playing. I think that would be cool. Like
yeah, I really
I
want to
don't want to
just
just talk
dive
about
deep.
bad news all the time, man. It's
Yeah,
game is
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be
for
fun,
sure.
bro. Like yeah, so this
For
is
sure,
cool.
for
See,
sure.
I'm learning a lot of shit right now. I've never seen any of this.
It's
That's
a
cool.
big jelly.
Yeah, this is one of the I found a really big orange one, man. And they oh man, if you die too, like I think you drop all your stuff, so you got to go back and get it, just like Valheim.
Typical, yeah,
So
typical kind of like games like this.
yeah, so
Oh man, what
super
a
cool, man.
time!
This game's awesome, man. Like
Wait, so is it crossplay? Do you know?
I don't. Let me look it up actually.
You got it on Steam?
I have it on Game Pass. But I'm sure you
Oh,
can
okay.
play like
Computer Game Pass? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Core
Because that's weird. Because
Keeper.
I don't know why the Game Passes are different. That's so stupid.
The game it has PC crossplay right now. I don't know what that means.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be a good community game. If I have to buy it, I mean, I'm down to support.
Yes, please,
Support
man.
the
If you
devs.
guys,
Yeah.
yes, please download this game, man. This game is so much fun, guys. I can't recommend it enough, man. So,
I just don't want to go get deep into it and then I can't like play with y'all. Then I'm gonna be sad.
yeah. That's the one thing I wondered that because you remember Valheim, if you didn't have a hosted server, you couldn't play if your friend wasn't online. Whoever hosted it. So I don't know if you can buy like servers to play this. I'm curious about that
Yeah,
actually.
we'll
So
figure it out. We'll figure it out because I think me, you, and Weenie can like, or even Darkstar if you want to. Wait, Darkstar, would you like to join the jam? But whoever wants to join the jam, I think it'd be a great community game to have.
yeah, super fun, man. And like I said, like there's different character classes you can start out with. And depending on the character class you start out with, you get different abilities and equipment. So I started out as a miner, and I got a copper pickaxe, which does more damage, has more durability from like the
Mm.
start, which was cool.
So it got the
So
typical elements of like the survival kind of Valheim type games,
yeah,
leveling up your pickaxe and stuff like
Nordhold.
that. And I really love the graphics. Like
Yeah,
I'm really learning to kind of like everything doesn't have to be so ultra realistic. You know what I
nah,
mean? Like
yeah.
I'm really my mind is adjusting to enjoy things that are,
You know what's
you
funny
know,
too? Like a lot of people look at games like that. I think clarity and lighting and color contrast plays a big part in a lot of those games. Like that, like Core Keeper does a really
mhm,
great job with lighting.
yeah.
Even to the point where like if you have a
It
torch,
looks
the
good.
light
It
the
looks
light like reflects off of stuff. Like it's super cool, man. Like it's man.
yeah. Because I used to be one of them simple-minded people. Like I used to just have my games that like had to look ultra like
Hmm.
realistic, or I couldn't get into it. But as I expanded my gaming palette, like games like this
Yeah.
is just great. Like even the game that we just showed earlier, Neon Inferno, it was just like
Yeah.
the way that they chose to do it graphically and how it's like a 2D, but you got monsters shooting at you from the top. So it's like a weird kind of 3D kind of,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, there is a lot of games out there, guys. Don't limit yourself to a certain genre or
Nah, man.
FPSs or like explore. I want you guys to really explore because you'll end up finding out about yourself and you'll just end up finding like a lot of cool games. It's a ton of indie games out there and hopefully, well, I'm not going to even say hopefully. I'm going to really really put a strong effort toward highlighting very cool
Yeah, I
games
think it's I think
outside of the
and
box.
if you guys have games too, just like Wendy recommended
Hell
the one
yeah.
we're watching now called Nordhold. This game actually looks pretty cool too. It's the tower defense game. Yeah, if you guys have games that you think would be cool to talk about, send them to us, man. We would love to.
Discord us, please.
Yeah, like I don't have to play it to know if I'll like it or not. I'll know by watching it pretty
And this,
quickly.
I could be honest about this because this is not really my bag. So it's not a
Yeah,
knock. It's just tower defense games. I've never really been like I put a valiant effort toward them.
I've played a lot on
I'm
my
just not
phone.
good at them.
I've played a lot of them
Yeah,
on my phone.
I'm not good at tower defense games. I'm trash. So that doesn't reflect upon this game. It's just me.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them.
Yeah, man. Let us know what you guys think, man. Yeah, I think that's gonna do her, man. Do her to her, man. That's the end of the
Great
episode,
episode.
man. Thank you guys for hanging out for episode 204 as always, man. It's a great time to really talk about some stuff. Like I said, man, let us know what you guys think about the PlayStation 4 Pro. If you're excited, if you're not, if you think Sony is evil, just anything really. Just let us know. I don't really have much, man. I do apologize for us not being live yesterday. I had something pretty important to take care of, pretty
Oh
important
hell
test.
no! Let's turn up. No, I don't want to hear it.
Come on, man. It's not.
Let's turn it up for my boy. He passed his test.
I took a IT certification
Now,
test yesterday.
Let me cook you. All right, let me cook you. Certificated, sophisticated, man, bro, host of the year, going down in his tech journey. One piece of the puzzle. We ain't finished yet. It's going down. My boy about to be the biggest tech geek on this side of the earth, shutting down your computers when you acting crazy. You feel me?
Oh man, I actually
That's
do know
where
how
we
to
was
find
at
people's IP
yesterday.
addresses.
He was taking a test. He was taking a test to make his life the best. And we appreciate all y'all prayers and thoughts and prayers and all the good luck and way to goes on Twitter.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to everybody who did say good luck and everything, man. You guys are awesome, man. I do appreciate that. It's nice to know that we have a great community of people here, and on the internet too, man. Like I said, people are always quick to be mean, or everybody's usually kind of doing their own thing online sometimes. But it's nice to know that some people actually care. So
yeah,
I appreciate
bring
that.
Nice back,
truly,
baby.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me, man. You guys can find me everywhere. Darius the Artist on Twitter. Darius the Artist where E is a 3. DC, take us home, baby.
Well, first of all, since you did your thing, I had to represent for my boy today, man. Since he did his thing, we had to bring out the flying V. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't gonna say anything.
We about to bring out the flying V for the
like
homie
that.
Darius
That's fire, man.
doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? We had to wait. Hold on.
See, I was gonna leave it alone, but that's so fucking cool, man. I want one of those. That's fire.
We had to do it for the homie, man. I said, you know what? I'm gonna wear my Mighty Ducks jersey today because my boy out there smashing.
Because you know why? You know why, guys? Because ducks fly together. All right, I'm done.
Word. So let me just throw some shout outs real quick so we can get up out of here. Thanks to everyone in chat for coming and just chilling with us on this Sunday, the Lord's Day. I hope you guys have a very blessed day. It feels great. I think fall is right around the corner, and I understand why Southern folks love fall so much, because it cools the hell down.
And the bugs die.
We've been getting sauteed this whole summer. So now it's like a nice cool 70 and it looks beautiful outside. But anyway, we're back to our regular schedule program. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
And I think that's all I have. Peace.
Yes, man. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. A great week, man. I hope the Monday starts off great. If you're rooting for your favorite football team, minus the Saints and Bucks, I hope they win today. And that's all we got, man.
Let's go. Lions at 1 o'clock. Let's go. Tampa.
Yay. Restore the roar, baby. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later, man. Have a good one. If you guys are in chat, hang around. We're going to play some video games. Peace.
You sexy minx.